Welcome back to Gentle Growth with Ivy. As always, this is Ivy, and today we have special guest Ava with us. Ava, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Ava. I'm a yoga therapist. My company is Golden Soul Holistics, and I offer yoga therapy for people who are struggling with their mental health.
Wonderful. And what brought you to doing this? Where did your passion come from?
I love this question. So, specifically, yoga for me started unknowingly. I was in the sixth grade, and my first love actually is dance. I love to dance.
Aw.
And I was in dance class, and my teacher, I'm not sure if she knew what she was doing, but she would have us, connect to our breath during our warm up and our cool downs. We would lay down at the end in what I now know is Shavasana, which is done at the end of yoga. And I remember those moments and just feeling so calm, so at peace.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't know that I was doing yoga. Fast forward to college, though, I had gotten into a relationship and then broke up, and so I was feeling down, and my friend was like, "You should take a yoga class," and I was like, "Okay, I'll do it." I went to that yoga class, and my heart just exploded. I experienced, like, bliss, joy, it was so amazing. I cried silently, not, like, whimpering in class or anything, but
Mm-hmm.
tears definitely came down, and, I've been hooked since then.
Oh, so it just kind of touched your soul with a golden light to bring in the your little company name there.
I love the way you said that.
Yeah, that's really nice because I think a lot of us do yoga and we don't even exactly realize what it is
Mhm,
because I'm personally still really new to yoga.
mm,
I just personally like to, freely stretch and do my own thing, which I didn't even realize was a form of yoga. I always
mm.
thought that yoga was these specific poses and doing specific breaths. And though that's a part, I'm sure you'll tell us more about what yoga is.
Yeah,
Um, and I'm interested to hear what you have to say.
yeah, so today I wanted to actually go into exactly what you talked about, so perfect segue there.
Good.
I wanted to kinda talk about some misconceptions of yoga therapy,
Hmm.
um, and just kinda, like, set this record straight for everyone who wants to experience yoga and yoga therapy but are not sure what it is.
Yeah.
So the first, I guess, mindset is you do not need to be flexible to do yoga.
Mm.
That's a big one. For someone like you probably already realize that in yourself because
Yeah.
you stretch, you tried it out. But some people are so afraid to try yoga and they don't realize that any body, literally any body can do yoga.
Mm.
Um, so I don't want anybody to believe the hype on that. You do not need to be flexible to do yoga. You start
Yeah.
where you are and you grow from there.
I love that because I know whenever I first started getting into it, I always had in mind, the super slim, flexible women.
Mhm.
And I'm like, oh, I'm chunky, I'm not flexible, I'm not graceful. How am I going to do this? So I was really interested. Well, I was really surprised um, whenever I first started like watching videos, like guided videos, and they was like, it's okay if you don't do it like this. You
Mm,
can modify it in your own way.
yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's understandable because of the imagery that's kind of pushed out in the
Hmm.
industry. It's not necessarily our fault, like as a yoga community. It's like, you have algorithms and it gets complicated,
Hmm.
but I just always want to encourage that person who feels like I can't even touch my toes. How am I supposed to do yoga?
Hmm.
We'll start there. And your back would love that as well. Like your back
Hmm.
still wants to stretch whether you can touch your toes or not.
Hmm.
So, yeah.
That's funny because I was definitely, well, I still can't touch my toes, but I don't let that stop me.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's right. What other common misconceptions do you hear about often?
So the second one is yoga is not a religion. So
Hmm.
that's another one that where I don't want anyone to believe that hype. And I remember the time when we thought that therapy was for crazy people.
Hmm.
And now as a society, we know better, and it's the same for yoga and yoga therapy. Some people, they may hear the chanting and for those who chant in yoga, which is not all, not everyone chants, but some people might hear the chanting and get turned away from that, or
Hmm.
they might think of it as worshiping gods, which it really isn't. Some people
Hmm.
incorporate that into their own practice, but you can be a Christian and do yoga, a Muslim and do yoga, any religion, because yoga itself is not a religion, it is a lifestyle. And so you
Hmm.
can incorporate whatever faith, whatever beliefs that you have into your practice.
Oh yes, I really like that you mentioned that because whenever whenever I kind of hit my rock bottom and I reached out to my most recent therapist, she was suggesting like yoga and meditation to me. And I was like, hold on, let me look into this. And so I looked into it, but not into like the best sources. And I was finding different like religious connections to both yoga and meditation. And so I came back to my therapist and I was like, I cannot do that. That goes against my religion.
Mm.
Like, that is a big no no to me and how I was raised. Um, but then she was like, Ivy, I'm a Christian too.
Mm.
And I was like, "What? And you do yoga and meditation? Like, are you sure?" And she's like, "Yeah, it's truly all about your intention behind it.
Yeah.
If you're not coming at it with a Hinduism, intention or a Muslim intention or even a Christian intention, maybe you're coming to it with a spiritual intention, or even a whole nother intention that's not religious at all. You can come to it with no intention besides to move your body.
Mhm.
And that was kind of life changing for me in that moment because I was like, wow, here's this helpful tool that I thought I wasn't allowed to use. But I can. It's just how I intend to use it.
Yeah, I love that story. And one thing to note is that there are people who practice Christian yoga. And so it just sheds light on the fact that yoga itself is not the religion, it's the
Hmm.
lifestyle. And people have merged yoga lifestyle with their faith and belief that they hold dear. And they've
Hmm.
created this beautiful new subset, new category that is unique to them and just
Hmm.
for them.
That's great because it really shows how versatile yoga is because like I was saying before, I felt like I couldn't do it because it didn't align with the way that I was raised. Um, and you can do yoga with no religion attached at all. It can be just stretching your body just the same as you would before you go to a gym or something. It doesn't necessarily have to be a religious practice, but it can. So it's really versatile.
In any yoga class, you can take what you need and what aligns with you and leave the rest. So even if
Hmm.
there isn't any Christian yoga nearby in your vicinity, and you are brave and you're open-minded just like you are Ivy, and you said, "You know
Hmm.
what? I'm gonna try this thing, and I'm just going to notice what comes up. What am I going to experience?"
Hmm.
And you sit down and maybe they start chanting and that's not in alignment with you, so you leave that behind. But the
Hmm.
stretches, you absorb whatever you can, whatever nourishment you can from the stretches or from the meditation part. Um,
Hmm.
it's one of those things where you don't have to embrace everything. You take what aligns with you and then you give the rest to someone else because it is beneficial to someone. Maybe not you,
Hmm.
but it's beneficial to someone else. So you accept the love that yoga is giving you and how it's feeding your body, and then you send the rest on to help someone else in the world.
Absolutely. I like how you said you don't have to take it all in, just take in what resonates with you.
Mhm.
And I recently made a post on my Instagram story So I love Cameron Rosin. I talk about him too much, I know. But he gave this analogy of whenever like you listen to his podcasts and stuff, and I really want the people who listen to my podcast to take away the same thing. He calls it cherry picking, and it's where you get all this information and it may not all align with you. It's not going to fit you, and every single word is not going to fit in every single category of your life. And so it's important to just take what resonates with you, take what makes you feel good, what you enjoy, and apply that to you. And then you can just leave the rest out, because just because you find that that area doesn't resonate with you, that doesn't make it completely untrue or unuseful to other people. So just take what you want and what benefits you and go with that, and, leave the rest behind. I really like how you said that.
I love that analogy. Another one that
Yeah.
I think of is going to the store, like
Mhm.
going shopping, and this dress may not be in your color. That's okay. Somebody else's color.
Mhm.
Those that shirt may be too large or too small. That's okay. Your size is in there somewhere. You'll find it.
Mhm.
Just having that open mind is very key to enjoying yoga.
Mhm. And life in general. I mean, if something doesn't apply to you, then oh well, move on.
Yeah,
There's other things that will.
that's right.
I really like that. I'm glad that you mentioned that.
And then the third thing that I wanted to talk about is that yoga therapy is not yoga class. Yoga therapy starts with a consultation, and we talk about what's weighing you down, what it is you're looking for. And at Golden Soul Holistics, that is free to everybody.
Good.
The next step is an intake assessment, and that's not something that happens at yoga class. Normally, we sign up, we pay our $15, and then we show up because
Mhm.
those wonderful classes are for general well being. But yoga therapy is specifically designed for you.
Mhm.
So, at this intake assessment, we're discussing your life journey so far, and we're doing simple poses so that I can understand you and your range of motion better. From there, the next step is to begin yoga therapy. And that can look like stretching, meditation, breath work, guided imagery, mindfulness, thought provoking questions, self awareness, affirmations, and the list goes on. And these are the tools that we need for more inner standing of yourself with a capital S. The next step is maintaining sessions at your pace and expanding our collection of wellness techniques. By this point, you'll notice a healthier difference, and maybe other people will too.
Mhm.
And then we get to self practice. That comes after, because ultimately you have the power to heal your life and transcend any and everything weighing you down.
Mhm.
So,
I
you're
love that.
welcome to continue for as long as you're comfortable with, but ultimately there will come a time when you have to test your wings to see if you can fly.
Mhm.
Yeah. So hopefully you fly towards the sun, but if not, because that
Mhm.
happens, life is not, always coasting and soaring and flying. Sometimes you
Mhm.
crash, and if you do, you can always come back.
Yeah.
Don't even hesitate.
Because ultimately, like, you are the one in control. I feel like so much in today's society and, in the recent past, everything has been putting us into like these files or these columns, trying to put us somewhere that we don't belong, and to put, a label on something. And, you got to do something this way, or you got to do it this way, or you got to do it how I say.
Mm,
But ultimately, like, we are our own healers. We
mm,
know what's best for us. And it's so important that we have people like you or people like me in lives, because we see everybody as an individual, and we are able to help them as an individual. And we're not here to say, okay, you have to do A, B, and C in this order. We're here to say, this happened. I think this can help you in this way. Um, so I really like how you're like, ultimately, you're the healer here, and we're going to do it in a way that benefits you. And it's not like this. package thing, if
Right.
that makes sense. It was hard for me to put that into words, but I really like how you said that. And
Yep.
then I also like your analogy with, the wings. It's time to test your wings and let's try it out and see how you soar and fly. But not every day is sunshine and rainbows.
Mm.
You got to have rain to get your rainbows. And every now and then you might come falling down a little bit, and that's okay because we're here to help lift you back up, change the directory of the air that's flowing beneath your wings.
Yeah, you did a great job putting that into words. The way I see it is we have a lot of noise. Like,
Mm,
I don't know if you've been on social media lately and like
mm-hmm,
it's like you can't drink water because there's this in the water. You can't eat
mm-hmm,
vegetables because there's this in the vegetables. Can't eat meat because there's this in the meat. And just a lot of mixed signaling, not necessarily bad information, but conflicting for at
mm-hmm,
least for me. It's been so conflicting.
mm-hmm,
So that's why I love yoga therapy because it helps you tap into your inner self and get that guidance that comes directly from you. Maybe this technique is okay for some people, but it would actually be harmful to other people.
yes.
For example, my father, he tried going vegan, not because of any trends. He's actually not on social media at all. He just
Mm-hmm,
in the environment he grew up in, it was normal for people to not eat meat. So he
mm-hmm,
tried it. He was like, let me go down this journey. And what happened is his muscles started feeling weak.
mm-hmm,
And he realized he needed the protein from the meat.
mm-hmm.
And so once a week he went back to eating meat. And it's just like if we take that scenario and put it into the social media context, had he listened to this vegan wave, and there's nothing wrong with the vegan trend. I love it for everyone who gains something from it.
Yeah.
But the point that I'm making is those messages are so conflicting that if he had just focused on now it's time to be vegan because that is the
Mm-hmm,
trend, he would be experiencing sickness and suffering. So it's
mm-hmm.
very key for us to listen to what our own mind, bodies, and spirits are telling us how to
Absolutely.
heal ourselves.
Absolutely. And I like how you touched on the trends and how it might be really beneficial to somebody else and not be beneficial at all, if anything harmful to other people. I think it's important to note that there's a lot of trends out there that are disordered. Honestly, there's a lot of food trends that is a disordered form of eating, and there's a lot of life trends that are not healthy. I've had people on here who help with like intuitive eating and stuff, and they talk about some of the diet trends and how it's really unhealthy for our body, and it's literally a form of eating disorders. And then there's other trends. I had a narcissistic abuse recovery person on here, and she was saying how there's trends of putting your partners down and stuff, and these people are getting haha jokes, and some of these people are getting weight loss and whatnot.
Mm,
um, but just because it's a trend doesn't mean it's the best thing to do. And it's really important to listen to your body, listen to your mind, how it's making you feel, and just pay attention to yourself and do what's best for you and not necessarily the most trending thing right now.
I agree. And if you don't know, then that's when it's time to search and do
Mm-hmm.
self inquiry and discovery. And the answers are there. And give it some time. They will come to reveal themselves to you.
Absolutely. Definitely search things because I know there's a lot of, you can't believe everything that's on the internet. And it's so true. But make sure before you fully dive into something that you actually kind of research it on the internet, or you could go to the library and look at some books and stuff. And again, that's where that cherry picking comes in, because you're going to read a lot and you got to stick with what resonates with you, what pops out, and you're like, "Ooh, that makes me feel good. I really like that. Let me keep doing that." And if you try something that's really great for somebody else and you don't feel so great, like your father trying veganism and feeling his muscles getting really weak, that's not good for him. So he decided, okay, meat makes me feel good, so I'm going to eat some meat. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yep. Ivy, is it okay if we talk about the goal of yoga therapy?
Absolutely. I would love to know the goal.
So the goal of yoga in general is unity with all,
Mhm.
like a self transcendence. And what I mean by that is we realize that there is no difference between me and you. There's no difference between me and the
Yes.
trees outside, me and the sun, even me and this laptop. And,
Mhm.
everything around us is made from our creator, whoever, whatever that may be.
Mhm.
And our goal is just to become one
Mhm.
with our creator and its creation. Have you heard
Mm.
that before?
I have. I'm. I know I said that I was raised Christian, but I have recently, the past couple years, dived into spirituality, um, and it's beautiful. It really is because, like you just said, everything is one.
Mm,
Every single thing around us is energy. Um, Everything. The air, the lamps, like you said, the laptop, me, you, we are all the same energy. We all came from the same energy source, and we all are truly one. We just have these different levels of consciousness that we are all attuned to.
mhm.
Um, and so I didn't know that about yoga therapy. So I actually didn't know that there was yoga therapy. I thought there was just yoga and you just went in and, went into a yoga class and you do your own thing. So you have brought yoga therapy to my attention and I'm like, oh, this is interesting.
I love that you found it interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yoga is medicine of our 200 times great grandparents because
Mm,
it began 5,000 years ago. We're here in the Western world. Um, our system of healthcare began probably in like the 18th century, if my memory serves me well, because I'm doing this research,
mm-hmm.
master's degree. I'm getting a master's in yoga therapy.
Wow.
Um, so I mean, there's no comparison. 5,000 years for anything to survive 5,000 years
Mm-hmm.
is a testimony to how powerful that it is.
Mm-hmm.
Because things come and go, and
Yoga has not.
yoga has not, and
No.
there's good reason for it. You mentioned that you had recently explored that unification with all concept. I did want to clarify because that can sound um, scary to some people.
Yes.
Um,
Right.
and I wanted to say that I also grew up Christian.
Mm-hmm.
I am no longer, I wouldn't classify myself as any religion specifically.
Same.
I draw the best from all. That's how I like to see it.
Mm-hmm.
But I was raised in that environment, so I can understand, um, you know, how it can be a little off putting to a Christian to hear someone say unifying with God
Mm-hmm.
because because I believe that group puts God on a pedestal, and
Mm-hmm.
God is the most high, and none of us can even compare, let alone
Mm-hmm.
unify with God. If that's how you believe, if that's what you believe, I respect that
Yes.
completely, and there's no part of me that wants to tell you that that's not true because I don't know. I'm just a human. I
Right, right.
don't know. But what the point of yoga therapy is to that regard is it's not to dethrone any creator
Mhm.
because I didn't create this, but I just want to be so close to the source. And I think that Christians and any other religions can resonate with that. You just want to be so close and have the strongest relationship that you can with the source. And the way we see it is through the breath, through
Mhm.
stretching the body that we were given, making sure that we expand and stretch our bodies to stretch our minds. It's through visualization and seeing. You can even see yourself giving thanks to the creator in whatever way that looks like. The guided visualizations, it just shows you the power of the mind because you can
Mhm.
literally see and think anything. And we have our techniques, and it's not always, going to a church and singing and praising. there's physical action to it as well.
Mhm.
And I just wanted to put that on the table for anyone who may have any reservations. It's a different form of the same love of God.
Mhm. Absolutely. I like that. I like how you mentioned that a lot of religions put God on this pedestal.
Mhm.
Um, and God, the creator, is, amazing, all powerful, and all those things are true. But what is also true is we are the same exact energy. We are a piece of the collective energy. Um, and it's not a bad thing to see that. And if yoga can get you closer to seeing that, then so be it. I know, being raised as Christian, there was a lot of fear tactics of, don't do stuff like this because, you're going to burn forever and blah, blah, blah. Um, and so the day that I kind of woke up and was like, God loves me. And no matter what, he's not going to punish me forever, especially if I'm just doing something that is good for myself, like yoga. Because those were my thoughts whenever I first started getting into yoga and meditation. I was scared. I'm like, what if this makes me burn in hell forever?
Mm,
You know? Um, and it's not the case. There's nothing wrong with moving your body and focusing on your breath
mm.
and doing things that align with you. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. It it's something that I can identify with. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Having a Christian upbringing, it was scary to think that if you made any left turn, that you would end up in the worst place imaginable.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and they really like painted a vivid picture of what that place looks like.
Yes, yes, they did.
But also, sometimes if you keep going right and right and right, you just end up in a circle.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you got to take a left turn to get to your destination.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's a good analogy right there. So, where would be the best place for somebody to contact you if they would like to get some of your yoga therapy services?
Thank you for asking. My website is goldensoulholistics.com. I'll spell
Perfect.
holistics, Holistics. And once you get on there, you just browse through. I have my yoga therapy services, I have therapeutic products to boost your wellness journey, things like copper water bottles that are great for
Ooh.
digestion, and others. You might see as well that I am a homeschooling mom, and I'm getting ready to publish my first children's book representing
Ooh.
homeschool children, which they are so underrepresented.
Mm-hmm.
And so I decided to fill that gap there. And then I just have a lot of ideas and a lot of great things coming. So you can follow me on Instagram at Golden Soul Holistics. I'm also on YouTube. And I am so excited to meet everyone that comes over.
Awesome. I love that you have a children's book as well. I'm also planning to be a homeschool mom, so I'll have to snag that one for my kid for sure.
Oh,
All right.
yes, yes. And for your homeschool co-op and friends,
Mm-hmm.
all of
Yes.
it.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time, Ava. It was really nice having you here, and I enjoy your perspective.
Thank you. This was a wonderful first time. I love
Thank
it
you.
here. Hopefully you can have me back on soon.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. All right. We'll chat later.
All right. Bye.
All right. Have a good one.